What does UDL mean to me? It means a glass half full way of thinking about how we design, how we teach, how we assess, how we engage with our learners every day. It's about loosening the lid so that every one of our learners can reach their potential, rather than us deciding what that potential is or how we're going to measure potential that just fits one type of learner and not every learner in our room. For me, UDL it opened my classroom. It helped me get to know who my students really are, and that who is at the centre of learning, teaching and assessment, and it's at the centre of UDL. And by going into my lessons and planning for variability and diversity in my classroom, it meant that I stopped thinking about what was wrong with my learners and putting something in place, making accommodations for them, and thinking about what can I do to remove barriers in the learning for everyone? What can I do within my design and my delivery to make my content more accessible, more engaging, and more achievable, and make it fun and make it interesting for everyone? And that sounded really daunting at the beginning, in terms of I moved from what do I have to do for that student or that group of students who have or with, to, oh my God, I need to have a choice or a plan in place for every single student. For those of us with like 100, 200, 300 plus, that's not going to work. But I moved from that daunting to the, actually, this is the goal that I want all of my students to achieve. I know they're all coming in at different access points. I know they're all going to take a different way to get to the end, and what the achievement looks like at the end will be different for all of them. And what I need to do is put in intentional choices, intentional tasks, intentional ways for students to communicate with and back to me and with each other, to show what they really know and not what our traditional way of learning, teaching and assessment tells us we know. So it opened a world for me, and now I have what I call my little treasure chest with all my UDL tools in it. And what I've realised is that the same kind of options are used. The materials and the content will be different, but once you get your head around that variability and putting in predictable options and intentional options and flexibility based on the goal of your lesson, that actually it comes down to 2, 3, 4, and sometimes because of the goal it will only be one. So yeah, it was that. It was my loosening the lid, opening the door, and making my learning experiences more enjoyable and engaging for everyone, including me. Yeah, and just seeing students achieve and be themselves and have themselves seen and valued and being invited to communicate what they know in a manner that suits them best. So it's, to me, UDL means everyone. And if we think about that, if we think about everyone, then there are no margins, there are no barriers, because we're removing them, because we are thinking about everyone.